That's a really interesting point. I remember you saying on the platform at the Munich Security Conference, not this year, the big J.D. Vance year, but last year, you were on the platform with Antony Blinken, which seems a long time ago. And you were saying, well, look, we're going to trade with Russia to some extent, oil and some military support, and we'll trade with you. And he looked, meaning the US, and he looked startled at that. But that is the kind of flexibility you're talking about.
No, I don't think, to be fair to him, I don't think he was startled. I mean, by that time, we'd been doing it for some time.
Yes. Maybe not surprised, but still, I'm going to stick with startled for the directness of your position.
You know, look, we've always been very honest about it. We've been honest about it, and I must say, even in 2022, we had discussed it at some length with the American administration, and I say this to their credit. They were also quite understanding about it, because one issue which has been, in a sense, distorted, the whole energy trade. The fact is that after 2022, you did not want the Ukraine conflict to trigger a global energy crisis. We did not want to see global inflation, and which meant that somebody had to buy Russian oil if the oil markets had to be kept at a reasonable price. So I think there was an understanding about the need for that, and in fact, I remind people, that was one of the reasons why there was a very conscious decision not to, mix that trade with sanctions. So I think people have been very sober and very, I would say, sensible about insulating the global economy from that particular aspect. So we've been very, honest about it, because I would rather tell our partners and the rest of the world up front what we are doing. I see no reason why we should be, less than direct in any way.
What about the BRICS? What would India like the BRICS to be? Economic grouping or ideological one? What's the value of it going to be?
Look, it's hard to put a label on it, and we all like putting labels. I mean, that's what we do for a profession. I mean, that's why you do what you do, and I do what I do. But some things are not so easily defined, and BRICS is one for this reason. I can't say that it's, I couldn't put an ideological label on it, in the sense, if you look at the BRICS members, even the original members, we are a very diverse group. We are an exception to the normal rules on which groups are formed. I mean, normally countries who are proximate geographically to each other or have some particular shared history or some kind of ethnic or linguistic commonality. This is normally the basis to create a group. Now, BRICS defies all those assumptions. So it's not like the Commonwealth, it's not like the NATO, it's not like the G7. It's not like anything which had been conceptualized earlier. What it had, I mean, if I were to really look at what brought BRICS countries together, it was a sense among very major powers that they were not getting their due place or due share of global conversations and decision making, and they would be better off if they came together and then shall I say, sent a collective message. So that is how BRICS started, and since then I think clearly they must be doing something right if so many countries want to join BRICS, and so many countries actually have joined BRICS. So we've had an expansion from the original 4. South Africa joined, and then it has become a double-digit membership in Joburg in 23, and in 24 last year in Kazan we also added dialogue partners, the concept of dialogue partners. So the group has grown. Yes, we do discuss economic issues. We also discuss political issues. It's not like we don't. So I wouldn't straitjacket it. I wouldn't. It's, as I said, it's hard to find a single adjective which would do BRICS justice.
Do you see a role for India in acting as an intermediary in any of these current conflicts? I'm thinking of the role that Saudi Arabia has taken on in at least bringing the US and Russians together in Riyadh. India has been carefully not committed itself on Ukraine, but do you see a role for India in this?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I'll only tell you what we have been doing so far. It'll be hard for me to predict what could happen in the future. We have been one of the few countries who have been regularly talking to both Moscow and Kiev at various levels. My Prime Minister has been talking to President Putin and to President Zelensky. We have met with the presidents, the ministers, the national security advisors, the defense ministers. So, at various points of time, if there was a moment or an occasion when our weighing in was useful, we have tried to do that. Mostly, it has been very specific. For example, in the summer of 2022, at that time, the Black Sea grain corridor was sought to be constructed, and there were some hesitations in Russia. So a few other countries approached us to, including Turkey, which had the lead, to press the Russians on that. We did that. When the Zaporizhzhia nuclear plant came under firing, we actually were approached by the Ukrainians to pass messages on to the Russians, which we did, and they had something to say, which we communicated back. We worked a little bit with Mr. Grossi in IAEA on that. So wherever there's been a sense that, okay, India can do something, somebody has come to us and said, would you be willing to do that? We've always been open-minded about it. To the extent we proffered advice, we have largely done that in the privacy of a room. We have spoken our mind to both countries, both leaders. Our view has been that they need to do direct negotiations. That's been our consistent position. We have never advised them what should be the format and what should be the terms of the negotiations. That is their business. But if and I would say this, every time we've had a significant and useful conversation with either of them, we have taken the approval of President Putin to share this with the Ukrainians and President Zelensky to share it with the Russians. So we have kept that going. But beyond that, as I said, we have never, it's never been up, we haven't done a peace plan or, put out a particular view, we don't think that is appropriate. I think this is an issue where the parties involved have to decide for themselves, and we also understand the stakes that Europe has in this matter. We understand the interest which the United States has in this matter. We hear it from the Russians that they too feel that there are other parties to be engaged. So I think we have done whatever was the right thing to do in the most helpful manner, and will continue to do that.